Feel free to ask questions, put it on the chat, raise a hand to speak on the mic. We're not going to restrict it. The goal of the session was very simple, which we communicated previously. We want to make sure that by tomorrow or by whenever you are going for your selection, you are thoroughly prepared. And I was telling the previous group at YouTube, on the YouTube channel, at this point, we can't grill into you the theoretical knowledge, which is not what I want to do. I don't want you to feel you are not well prepared. I think you are at this point. What I want you to do, I want you to be prepared mentally, attitude-wise, mentally, confidence-wise. I want you to be prepared because what you need tomorrow at this point is mental preparation. I want you to enter that room with confidence, to know that if they want 5, 6, whatever number of people, you saw the video that I've done about how many people they select. I want you to have that mindset. I must be one of them. That's all I want from this. I want you to walk there in that room with confidence. Don't walk apologetic as if you want to trip, as if you have been done a favor to be there. Enter that room with confidence. Look at them in the eyes. Show them that you want it. I was telling the previous group that if there are 10 people there on the panel, you are an underdog. They all know that you are scared because there are many that are in the majority. But imagine if you show confidence. Imagine if you handle them very well, and they can see that this person is a professional. He can handle 10 people in front of her or him. So you need to show confidence tomorrow. I don't want you to go there as if like they've done you a favor. They've actually taken time in their busy schedule to be with you. They want to. And I want you to go there and confirm it to them that you are indeed the right candidate. In those words, colleagues, I want to welcome Carmen to just share. Carmen is very passionate about what she does. And yeah, Carmen, please, words of encouragement, anything that you feel like they need to know to prepare. How did you prepare yourself mentally for that day? Just share that. Don't be footy. Others are going for selection. Somebody on Instagram, when we went off, they're like, no, we need to come back. I'm going for interviews. So please, over to you. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. So I'm Carmen Dlamini. I am a final year student. And so that means I applied, 2 years ago, right? I think it is a very hectic process, and you are nervous from the get-go, from the moment you submit your application, like straight through. But for those, especially those that's going into the interview tomorrow, I think what was important for me, and still is in any kind of interview that you go for, is just to be yourself, be yourself, because like Dr. T said, you would find that the panel, whether it is 10 people, 5 people, even 2 people that's going to see you, they're going to watch your body language. They're going to watch the way you present yourself, even the way you dress. I mean, my selection was during the COVID time, so obviously mine was online. So I'd also like to hear from you guys if yours is going to be online, if you're going in personally to actually see them. I think it doesn't even really matter what the context might be, whether it's online or in person, like in face-to-face. The way you present yourself in terms of your dress code, I think even though I knew mine was online, I was like, I dressed up, I even put on heels. I needed to feel, that, man, I'm going for an interview where in my head, I'm telling myself 200 other people applied for this, and I need to show them out of that 200, I am worthy of being there. So you either walk into that room or walk online in confidence. You don't need to always know everything. To be honest with you, I, like some of you, might be an honest student that's applying for your master's. Obviously, I was there as well. So you don't know everything. You don't know every therapeutic modality, or you don't have the answer to everything, but your eye contact that you make, your body language, like I said, the confidence that you portray, the way you speak to them. You are nervous, but something, to be honest with you, that I do, I always lean on my personality. I'm a very extroverted kind of person, if some of you might have picked that up now. I like to throw a joke or two in just to kind of relax myself. So yeah, I think it's a very hectic one. For those that's going tomorrow, you're probably not going to sleep much tonight. You're going to wake up during the middle of the night. That happened to me. But I think if you walk in there being yourself, being confident, and I think that's one thing that our lecturers, that's part of the selection process, actually told us when we walked into our orientation in the next year in February. And they were like, you know what, one thing we always look at is to be able to tell when someone is themselves. And that's why I'm really like making that a significant thing to you guys right now, is when you go and you speak about who you are. Don't go in with a mindset of, oh, I submitted something. We had to submit is a VIA online about yourself, like what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and you also had to write all about who you are as a person. So when you go into the interview, don't expect that they've already read everything, which they do, but don't expect that they should already know, oh, this is common, and she said her leadership skills is this, or like she's an honest person, or characteristics is this. Like, you go in there telling them those things. But I'd also like to hear if there's anybody that has questions, so that I can also kind of base what I'm encouraging you on through answering some of your questions as well. So is there anybody that has a question?
Carmen, I'm seeing there's a question there. Active, what really will be the difference between an interview with departmental staff and one with a psychologist from an internship site? Active, you want to switch the mic and just clarify what you mean?
Can you?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Need some context now. So I've been invited to Rhodes selections for counseling.
At
right?
Rhodes?
Yes.
Okay.
I have the choice to take it online if you cannot make it to Grahamstown, right?
Okay.
So so it's 3 interviews.
Yeah.
Play. So the first interview will be with the departmental staff, maybe 1 person or 2, right? And then the second one with a counseling psychologist from a private practice or from the. I just need context, like how exactly would they be different?
Okay. I've never heard of that, actually, the first time. So I've never heard of that. But Carmen, maybe comment on that.
Okay, so I personally don't think it's much different, to be honest with you. I just had 3 interviews, because obviously I also need to go into my internship next year. So as M2s or final year students, we're already in our process of getting interviewed again. So the nerves that some of you are having for tomorrow, I'm going through that on a weekly basis as well, going into different interviews for internship. I don't think there's a huge difference. I think they would just, and both sides would want to know more about you as a person, and then also to understand what you know around your profession. I think something, especially for me as an educational psychologist, I get asked what assessment tools do you use for a child that has a learning barrier, or how would you handle parents? Remember, they're also going to ask you a lot around how would you handle a irate person that walks into the room right now. What is the first thing you're going to do? Are you going to contain the situation? Are you going to run to your superior? What are you going to do? So they're going to give you scenarios and obviously expect you to be able to answer those. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm answering your question.
Okay, yeah, that's thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other question? I don't see. There was a hand from Ntombi Futi. You had a hand, yes. You can switch on the mic.
Okay, thank you. And I wanted to ask, does it help to practice responses to possible questions? And does practicing not make one to not be themselves? I know I'm not sure if I should practice, but I did practice some questions, but I'm not sure if I am cramming answers. And if I give those answers that I crammed during my practice, is that not making me sound like I am not being myself? I'm not sure if my question is clear, but what does being yourself really mean?
It is very clear, girl. I practiced like all the possible questions there could be. And I looked like a crazy person in my house. I stood in front of the mirror. I practiced to my heart. I was all over the place, but you know what? I do believe in preparing beforehand. I personally do think that when you come into that interview in front of that panel, your nerves takes over. And sometimes if you've practiced anything beforehand, yes, of course, you're still going to be yourself. You're not going to verbatimly say the things that you've been practicing at home, but it's going to register, and there's going to be things that you're going to mention, because something I always tell people, even something I find myself doing right now, going for my internship interviews, is that it's so easy for you to tell people things about things that you don't like about yourself. But the moment someone asks you, please tell me what are your strengths? What do you like about yourself? And then you're like, so those are the kind of things that you would want to practice beforehand. I was on YouTube. You guys are actually lucky to have this with Dr. T. I didn't find this, and I didn't find him on YouTube. I didn't even know it was there. Now I wish I did. I would have probably been better prepared. But yes, 100% I would say possible questions. Watch the different. I think there was one question that came up for me, was what kind of intervention would you use with a grade 1 learner that was raped? And it was a real life case. It happened in Soweto, I think, a grade 1 learner that got raped by a one of the staff members. I think it was a groundsman or someone that worked at the school. And they said, okay, so the school is not, they don't understand what to do. Here you are, the therapist coming into this space. What kind of intervention would you work with, And for me, luckily, I watched things on what kind of therapy do you use with kids. And play therapy, I didn't know play therapy before I walked into my interview, but because I prepared beforehand, I was able to answer which kind of intervention I would be able to use. Things I practiced beforehand, like I said, I didn't answer them verbatimly that way, but at least I was prepared, and so I was able to answer things. Does that help?
Thank you so much, Carmen. I think that's very helpful. And I totally agree with you, and I do encourage that as well, because remember, I tell people this is like your interview, your most important career advancement interview. Should you get in, your career is affected for a lifetime. And I say you rather be over prepared than under prepared. However, I think one of the things that people actually get concerned about, what if I prepare, they don't ask me? I tell people, even if you prepare more, they might not ask you the specific question, but the content that you have prepared can be applied to any question they ask you. For example, somebody asked a question here. I can't remember. I think it was in Thago. You mentioned that we don't need to know everything. So what can one say when they don't have an answer? Make sure you have an answer. So the only way to make sure you have an answer is prepare, rehearse. Some of you, English is not your first language. So the only way to be able to convey your thought thoroughly is when you have rehearsed what you wanted to say.
Yeah.
Even if you might not articulate it the way you were rehearsing it, but I can assure you, you will say better than if you had not prepared it. So you will never lose anything by preparing. And make sure, don't go there and not answer any question. That one in Thago, please, I'm begging you. Come and maybe clarify, because I was saying, Carmen, you mentioned that we don't need to know everything. So what can one say when they don't have an answer to a question being asked?
Look, the way I play that around, to be honest, even I had it recently in an interview where I actually got accepted in half, but I I've mentioned to Dr. D before, I've declined the post for next year because it's too far from home, because I'm in a different province. I'm not in Gauteng. But there was a question that came up, and I think how I played it off, which I probably shouldn't like encourage, but I always love to say I'm a lifelong learner. So if I don't know something, I tell them, you know what, this is the reason why I applied, so that I can learn from you. And obviously, I do know that I'm a student that knows the foundation of certain things, but because I'm a lifelong learner, these are the kind of things that I actually want to get into the university for, so that I can actually know better about this particular thing that you're asking me about. So I think being able to play like that as well when you don't know something, just to remain confident. I always also tell my students in school, like, you know, when you're wrong, be confidently wrong as well. So honestly, so I would say don't get stuck on what they're asking you and you're just quiet and you're not saying anything back. I would always say rather answer, even though you're not answering that particular question they're asking you, but you're telling them, you know what, I might not right now know the answer to that thing, but this is the reason why I'm applying, is to be able to learn more about these, whatever the question would be. Like, for instance, if they ask you, how would you, what modality would you use for siblings, if you're going to have to do family therapy, what are you going to use? And you might not at that moment know, oh, it's the Alderian theory that I'm going to use here. You should be able to say, you know what, right now I might not know it, but when I get in as a student, these are the kind of things I'm going to learn from you guys, and I will be able to do, you know, you're just basically trying to answer them and not to be quiet when you get an answer, or don't say I don't know. Guys, if there's one thing you shouldn't do, is do not say I don't know. Rather, say, going to go and learn on this, or when I get accepted, these are the kinds of things that I know I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to do great on it, you know. So that kind of,
I don't know people if they that one is gonna break the deal. You won't come back the next day. That one I can assure you. If you say I don't know,
yeah.
But I think what Carmen is saying is very crucial. I tell people that there are over 100 psychological theories. Nobody expects you to know all of them.
Yeah.
I think you need to be very open. I think I was sharing in the previous session that as long as you can be honest, they can see that you are a genuine person. Even if they ask you about the modality which you don't know, just mention what you know, but always mention what you know on your side that you want them to ask. I tell people you can actually guide or trigger the question that they must ask you.
Yeah.
Make sure you know the modality of an institute you are going to, but don't say it as if you are an expert of that particular modality. Mention to them, this is what I understand about that theory. I did prepare it for this selection. However, I'm willing to learn more about it should I be selected. Because in my life journey, this is the modality that I've been applying in my life. You mentioned the one that you know better.
Yeah.
You are doing that intentionally so that they can ask you about your modality. So you have put a trap for them to ask you about something that you know, but you lead the discussion from the back. You do that, but never, like come and say, you rather answer with confidence, even though you know that you know what you are speaking nonsense here. You have no clue. But try to keep a very straight face and give an answer. Never come with I don't know. This is a lifetime interview that you either make it or break it. I don't know won't work. So yes,
with you, Jay, they would do the when it comes to this particular final stage, you do the how could I put it, like a group session where they see how you work with other students. So they give you a scenario, you guys do it together, you kind of debate amongst one another, and then you do your individual interview. So is that what they're also going to be having? Are they going straight into just individual interviews?
I don't know if Ntomifuthi wants to answer.
Okay, we're still in phase 1, and phase 1 is still just interviews. In round 2, phase 2 rather, I think that's where there's the group activity and the role play.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. Are there any questions? I see Kanye has joined. I want to release Carmen. Carmen is too busy, people, more busy than me. I've
I
never
have
seen such a busy
questions.
person in my life.
I have some questions to do to Dr. T. So I hope I can submit 2 days later.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't see any other question. Carmen, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
You're
I
welcome.
know you are very busy. To make time for us, we really appreciate. I think what I'm going to do when I do a follow-up session, I really want to make up for the people we lost at on YouTube. I will
Yeah,
invite you again if you don't mind.
sure.
Probably on the weekend, I'm going to ask the people here to give me a date and time, and then I will keep in touch with you.
No problem. Good luck to everybody. I'd also just like to say, when they also ask you about a difficulty you faced in your life, hold yourself together. Please do tell them, even if you're not in therapy, please tell them you are in therapy and get yourself a therapist instead of saying like, oh no, I'm just handling it like 1, 2, 3. Tell them I'm self-caring. I'm taking care of whatever challenges I'm facing in life. I've got a therapist, and part of having a therapist is part of self-caring. Push that out there so that they can know. Because remember, to become a psychologist, at the end of the day, your mental health is what's also important, because you're working with people, you're taking on other people's challenges and life situations. And so, how do you actually maintain your own mental health in that process? So, for you guys that are not at that stage, just at hearing, let them know, you know what, I'm already in therapy. I've got a psychologist. I have a family structure, or whatever your support structure. This is what my support structure looks like. I'm making sure that I'm taking care of my mental health. I'm self-caring constantly, because I want to make sure that my mental health is also at a place where I'm not just taking on everybody else's things, but I'm also making sure that I'm also offloading mine onto whoever might be your support. So I'm sure a question like that will come up, especially if you're speaking about that you're going into your individual interview. Let them know about a challenge. Give them a scenario of your own life. They want to know about you. So give them a scenario about your own life. Listen, this is where I come from. I used my own vulnerable background. I came from. I'm from the Cape Flats, guys. I went through everything in the Cape Flats, saw everything, but I spoke on my resilience, and I used that as my significance, and my family structure, them being my support structure, and how they pushed me to get to the point where I'm at now. So use something very personal to yourself, and then portray that out to them, and let them know this is what I'm doing to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. Because to take care of other people, you first have to take care of yourself. So that's also something you really want to push forth as well. But thank you so much for having me, Dr. T. Good luck to everybody. Please get sleep. I know it's hard to sleep right now, but please try and get some. You're going to do okay. Make sure that you breathe before you go into your interview, and prepare, and stay away from I don't know. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank
I'm
you so
so
much.
excited for them. I'm really excited for them.
That's great. Thank you so much, Kanye. I really appreciate it. I'll keep in touch. I'm going to
Yeah,
move to Kanye. Thank you.
you're
Keep well. Enjoy
welcome.
your evening.
Okay, same to you. Bye.
Yes, bye. Friends, I'm going to ask Kanye to come on board. Kanye, you are here, yeah? Kanye is at VETS. You probably saw Kanye in one of the videos that we did. She's at Psych second year. She will share, I think, Tommy Foot, you'd like to hear from Kanye, because Kanye, apparently VETS elections are tomorrow. So you have went through the selections. Yeah, somebody just told me, Tommy Foot is here, told me that they've been invited tomorrow at VETS. Just words of encouragement from your side. I told them we're not going to bombard them with theory things and all that, but we just want to make sure that people are confident for tomorrow. They walk tall, show confidence, and they go then get their. So over to you, and we also share afterwards.
All right. Thank you for
Anything
having
that's in
me.
your mind that you like you need to know.
Okay.
Anything.
Thanks. I'm not sure if I'm having a network problem because I can't hear you clearly.
No. Well, I can hear you very well. Colleagues, can you hear Kanye? If you can hear Kanye, Me, I'm not the most important person here. I think you are. Let me know if you can hear her. Tomifuti said they can hear. I take it people can hear you. You can go on.
All right. Thanks for having me. I just want to understand for which program are the selections for tomorrow? Can you guys hear me? Oh, clinical. Okay. I think the most important thing, like I said on the Instagram live. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Very well. Very.
Okay. So I was saying the most important thing is to prepare for your selections and be confident. I know it seems like there's so much competition, but try not to compete. But also to answer questions to the best of your ability, prepare yourself, be confident. Try to ignore the fact that, there's other applicants that you are competing against, and focus on yourself, focus on the process also. And although it's normal to be nervous, but try to be as confident as possible. And the only way that you are going to be confident is if you prepare. So the most important thing is to prepare yourself, prepare for your group task, prepare for role play, prepare for the panel interview. And yeah, I think Dr. T has also shared a lot of information on his YouTube channel with regards to questions you might be asked, what to expect on the group task, role plays. So just prepare and be confident and try to avoid the people who are also invited for the selections, and focus on yourself and the process.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nice and sweet. Friends, question for Kanye. Kanye, remember people went for the selection about a year ago, so her mind is very fresh. She remembers very well what happened. So
Can I ask Kanye, thank you for being here to assist us and give us tips. I wanted to ask, how long do the interviews normally take, especially the individual interviews?
So that's a difficult question for me to answer, because with us, with EdPsych, we had a single interview and everything was integrated into a single panel interview. So we didn't have to do any role play. We didn't have to do any group tasks. We were given scenarios and case studies, and we had to reflect on that. So I'm not quite sure about that. However, I do know that clinical and MEC selections do have role play and group tasks.
Okay, thank you for that. I was just wanting to have a clue of how long I will be sitting in front of the panel tomorrow, since I have the individual interview.
Okay, for an individual interview, you might expect it could take about an hour if it's an individual interview.
Okay, thank you, Kanye.
Welcome.
Yeah, and colleagues, I think remember.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can others hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Oh, sorry about that. I was saying, even though you want to hear more about a specific institute, the basics are the same in terms of the interview. All you need is to make sure that you are prepared for the basic things. Role play, one-on-one interview, group activity. It's about how do you handle yourself within those particular contexts. So we might not be able to cover what this institute will do in particular. I've tried to do that with the different interviews that I've done, but I think just be ready for anything that will happen in that particular interview. Whether they put on one-on-one, whether it's a group activity, whatever, be ready as an individual to be able to partake on that, apply the principle that we would have applied in any other institute. What they will do, even if we can tell you what they've done last year, they always want to change because they know that we share information. They know that people who get selected, they share with others. So they'll always want to be different. What is important is the principle. You answered the one about the vets, Kanye?
Yeah. Someone was asking also any tips for vets counseling selections. It's the same. So when I went into selections, I actually got advice from someone who interviewed for counseling at vets. So you are going to have a group task, you're going to have individual panel interview and role play. So specifically with the group task, I think it's important that they might give you a topic and ask you to discuss on the topic. I don't know how they're going to do it this year, but what's important is how you interact in a group. Try not to be dominating in the group. Try to be neutral, and also if maybe you notice that there's someone in the group who is quiet, try and engage them in the group in a respectful way, in a way that would not make them feel uncomfortable.
And what
Thank
about
you
the
so
research
much.
question?
Yes, no,
It's a
we
research
clarified
question.
that. I saw the question. Yeah, there's a question. No, just clarify. I wanted clarity on it. What did you mean?
Oh, I was just asking, like, in terms of the research part, I know Dr. T can't hear me because of his network, but I think Kanisile can still hear me,
I can
right?
hear you very well.
Oh, okay.
I can
Because
hear
you
you
keep freezing.
Perfect. Sorry,
But
I
it's
can hear you
fine.
very well.
Okay, so in terms of the research aspect, I just wanted to ask, because we had to submit a research proposal or guidelines, are they going to ask just general questions regarding your research topic and methodology, or are we going to get questions like, why did you choose this data analysis method? Why did you choose this one and not this one? Like research in depth. I think that's what I'm stressed about more than anything.
Okay. Karen, do you want to answer that?
I wish I could get someone from the counseling class to answer this. So maybe on the next, if you are going to have a next meeting, then I can. Are you interviewing tomorrow?
No, my
Yeah.
interview is at the end of the month, not tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'll try and get someone from the counseling class for the next meeting.
Okay, cool.
So
Thank
they
you.
can answer.
Okay. But maybe just to come back there, Neo, this is my take about research. Remember, if there's an area where, I hope you can hear me very well.
Yes,
I'm
I
trying
can.
to admit people while I'm talking. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, I can.
If there's an area where you will not be expected to be thoroughly grounded in, will be the area of research. Mainly because research is one of the key components of a master's program. In other words, part of your research, part of your qualification is to complete a research project. At honors level, and this is the perspective, you are coming to masters from an honors level. At honors level, you do what we call an introduction to research. In other words, they introduce the principles of research to you. That is why often in honors, they will ask you to do a group research project. So they're not expecting you to be well-grounded. If you are, it's good for you, but they don't expect you to be that well-grounded. What they expect from you at master's level, have you thought about the research? Do you have the basic? The basic I'm speaking about, do you know that there's qualitative, quantitative? Do you know that quality and quantity differ in terms of the concepts? Do you know that? That's what they want to know. Are you able to choose a research topic? And do you understand how that research topic, how does one go about choosing a research topic? I was making an example to somebody. Somebody gave me an example. I think there was a lady who was sharing with us on Instagram. She's on the 4th stage of SMU. Tomorrow they are going on the 4th stage. I asked her to join. I don't know if she's here already. But I think she asked me a question a week ago to say, if she shares about the research topic, and share how she actually came with that particular topic. And she started to explain to me how she'll go about it. I told her, when it comes to research, they want to know that you understand at least the basic. To show that you understand the basic, I will not just answer the title of my research topic. I will mention the category in which my research falls, whether is it qualitative or quantity. So my answer will start by saying, I decided to follow a qualitative research approach, and this is the topic that I want to research. By saying that already, I'm showing that I understand that research has got different methodologies. And I will not say what informed me to come up with this topic. I will say my rationale for coming up with the topic is. In other words, I'm using the concepts of research to show that I understand research. I will not say, and I'm planning to use this to collect data. I will say my participants will be. So use the concepts of research in order to show that you understand what research is all about. There's a video I've done, you can check it on YouTube, where I speak about the basics of qualitative research. But use the concepts. Don't just answer it generic. Answer by mentioning key things about research to show that you understand research. Nobody expects you to be thoroughly knowledgeable about research, but they want to know, do you have the basic? Should they select you? Will you be able to cope with research? That's what they want to hear. I hope that answers you.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, to add on that, I think also.
Yes, sorry, there was another question. Yes, can you please go on?
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to add on that. I think also mention why you chose that specific topic. And just like Dr. T had said, also mention where you are hoping to collect your data, how many participants you're hoping to have, and just, sorry about that, just why you decided to do that topic specifically. So you decided to do whether qualitative, quantitative research, why that topic, where you're hoping to collect your data, and how many participants you're hoping to work with.
Okay, thank you.
And obviously, remember, you're going to be guided by the question. What exactly do they want you to answer on? So, in mind, don't be, when you are there, people just be as possible. Be very open. If you didn't hear, just say, could you please repeat this part? Let them clarify the question. Don't try to answer when you have not heard. You know, it is not uncommon not to hear somebody clear. Sometimes because we are anxious, we just want to speak even though we have not heard the question. You are talking, somebody saying, no, sorry, you did not understand me. Rather to avoid that, just say, you know what, can you please repeat the question? Everybody knows that we're all anxious in there. So I might not hear you, not because you are not clear, just because I'm anxious. So be very relaxed as much as you can when you're in that particular meeting. Kanya, I think I saw another question. Somebody asked, Iman, please share some tips for SMU interview and written task. Should I expect a lot of theoretical question and any idea what the written task will be about? Iman, just share at what stage are you? My understanding is that tomorrow they are going to the fourth stage. Somebody was sharing about their first 3 stages. At what level are you on first stage? Wow. Iman, no. Can you please share how you got to the first stage before we answer your question? We want to help those who are starting stage 1 tomorrow. Just share. I want to hear from you, if you don't mind. What was it that you think you have maybe, what was the key thing that you can say, you know what, I think this helped me to get to where I am? Because there were people on YouTube, on Instagram who said they were kicked out on first stage, second stage. What do you think with you got you to where you are? For those who are going to the selection in days from now, I really appreciate that.
Okay, perfect. Hi everyone. Hi Simon. I think something that really helped me is the cognition and co people. They are amazing.
Yes.
I attended the group interview preparation, and I also watched the master's preparation video that I uploaded. and they kind of like share everything that you need to know. I also attended like the case study preparation and role play preparation with them, and that really helped me with the selections.
Okay. And during the selection, I want to know, like on stage one, stage two, at what point, sometimes
Hey,
you go to
Amo,
the selection
are we not
when
changing our slide?
Can you just switch off the mic? I've muted Kanye. Iman, just a quick question. At
Mhm.
what point I want to understand during your process, your first stage, second stage, you are there, you are alone, you have learned all these things from cognition, you come there with it. At
Mhm.
what point do you say you felt, me saying that, I think this will have helped me to get through or made me to stand out? Was there such a moment? Or you were just as surprised that they selected you? Wasn't there a moment where you felt, I think there I pinned it, and I think that's what actually made an impact? Was
Mhm.
there such a thing?
Yes, I think there definitely was a moment. Yeah, when we did the role plays, we were 6 people in my group, and I noticed that the way I was asking questions, were actually like the way I learned during the role play preparation. And I'm doing like online counseling. I'm volunteering, so that also like really helped. So I would say for anyone who wants to apply, try to like volunteer as a lay counselor. And I could see
Okay.
that I really like the way I was asking questions was different from how everyone else was doing the role play.
Wow, 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 wow. No, thank you for sharing that. Let me go back. Maybe just rephrase your question. I wanted to get to be clear about your question. Just rephrase what you are asking.
Okay, so tomorrow we are having two activities that we need to do. The first one
Yeah.
is in interviews. They said we might have 2 or 3 people who will go in at the same time. So from what
Mhm.
I understood from that is like the panel might ask us questions that we need to answer, and then there's a written task. People were saying that it's an abstract, but I don't really understand what to expect from the round tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. So usually they do that a lot. Actually, it's a common practice everywhere, and it goes together with your research work. So basically, they want to know if you have the basic skill in terms of being able to carry out a research written work. So they might ask you that choose any topic and write a brief research protocol or research proposal or research abstract. What you need to know, which is very key, what does an abstract compose of? Remember, an abstract is a summary of your research. So abstract basically give you why this topic is important or why I came up with this topic, what is the methodology, what are the participants, and what are the outcome of that particular research. One of the key things about an abstract, it gives you the outcome of the research that you've conducted. I don't know if they'll ask you for an abstract. I doubt they might ask, but they might say a brief proposal. They want to see if the basics are there. And in terms of the interview, the minute you get to the final stages, the interview now, they grill down in trying to know you as a person. It becomes more personal when you get to the final stages. That's when they ask you about yourself, your methodology in terms of as what theoretical frameworks to in understanding your own life, what led you to become a psychologist. So they start to grill into you as an individual. It's about now your personal and professional development. That's where now I think there's a video which I've done where I speak about the different questions that you need to prepare for. I think you don't have time to check for that. I hope you've seen it. But it's all about yourself now at this particular stage. We are in the last stages. You want to confirm they've got the right person. At this point, they probably have the final cut where can we just confirm that are the person that we want to select. Professional development, personal development are very key. Show that you are the candidate. What you share is very important. When you have volunteered or you've got a background, I tell people There was a lady I was speaking to over the weekend. She's a psychometrist. I said, if I'm a psychometrist and I'm in an interview, remember, people who are in the interview, they have no clue who you are. They probably don't even have any of your information. So know what they have. By the way, it's not information that is critical without them even asking for it. They might ask you, for example, a simple question. How do you think we'll be able to handle the workload? They just ask you about workload. But you bring into them to say, you know what? I'm fortunate that I worked in this particular environment. I'm fortunate that I volunteered in this particular environment, which has equipped me with this and this. Or the workload was demanding in that particular environment, and I was assisted on how to handle it. And I believe that should I be selected, I think at least I have some potential to be able to handle whatever demand that can be put on me. So already you are telling them about what you are doing, which they never ask about. But you are showing them that this is not going to be a trial and error. You have done it before. Or they ask you about how you'll be able to deal with assessment. If I'm a psychometrist, I'm going to tell them, you know, I'm fortunate that I've been working as a psychometrist for the past 5 years, and I've used variety of psychological medias, such as, I can give an example, and I believe that obviously some of them are going to be what I'll be using now. I know that I will be lacking in terms of the emotional media, but I'm willing to learn them and add them into inventory of media that I need to learn. So already I'm telling them about what I've been doing. I'm an asset because I'm coming with already a list of media that I know how to use, mediate psychological tools that I know how to use. And I'm telling them it's not going to be difficult for me to adapt because I've already been in the field. So find a way to add information that they've not asked for, but you put it into that particular response that you give. It's up to you to sell yourself to them strategically, so without deviating from the question or evading any question, but you try to spice it by making sure that they know you more. Usually when you come for the interview, the person who knows you more is the coordinator because she went through the application, she shortlisted, but usually when we sit there, the only thing we have is a rubric. That's all we have. Oftentimes, we don't have time to go through the form. We only have a rubric. You must bring us to that information that we don't have access to. I hope that answer.
Yes, thank you so much. That was really helpful. When I joined the meeting, you were talking about like they will give us case studies and ask us how we will work with them. So I just wanted to confirm if for SMU clinical side, I should expect questions like this, like the ones you were discussing before.
Yeah, so if you check, there's a video which I've done with Lerato. I think she's a clinical psychologist. She's doing internship. I think when I have the next meeting, I'll invite her. She did her master's at SMU. During her selection, they did have a clinical case scenario. And I think the toughest part with hers was that the lecturer was actually acting as the client. So the key thing there, remember, that is why we say always prepare for a role play. Be as composed as possible and try to show understanding. The key thing about psychology is that I'm not an expert of your life. You know your life better than I do. I'm there to convey understanding. And the more I understand you, the better I can be able to intervene. So if your first part of that particular role play or whatever case that they give you, you try to say that you are trying to get the name of this person. Because remember, usually when you do a role play or a case study, they want you to reflect at the end. Oftentimes, they want you to reflect. And when you reflect, you need to be able to explain what you were doing and why you did it the way you did it. And if they can hear, sometimes you do very bad during the case study, but your reflection saves you because you are able to explain to them so that they can understand what you did is the most important thing. So don't just go with the flow. Understand what are you doing, why are you doing it the way you are doing it, and be able to reflect about it at the end. So try in your first session. These are the principles, and you learn this at an undergrad. They will tell you every time a client comes to you, build a rapport. So most of the time they can tell you the rapport has been built. Where will you start after the rapport has been built? Don't waste time on the rapport. Build a rapport, move on, and get into the nitty-gritties of the case. Because sometimes you spend time and say, no, I was trying to build a rapport. That is why we took long. You have got a limited time. Build a rapport. When you feel it established, and then you move on to the next case. If they call you to reflect, to say, do you think the rapport was built? You just be open with them. You know what? I've got a limited time here, and I wanted to showcase how I can handle this case. If I was under a normal condition, I think I would have taken time to build the rapport. So you are showing them that although you think you have built the rapport under this circumstance, had you had enough time, you would have spent more time trying to build rapport, or spend more time trying to make sure that the client relax and understand why they're there, or settle into the session. So don't shy away from sharing what you have done differently under normal circumstances. They're all aware that the conditions are just fabricated for that particular session. So it will always differ, given a different context. I hope that answer your question, Iman.
Yes, it definitely does. Thank you so much, Doctor. It was really helpful.
And colleagues, I will share this video. I think I will put on YouTube maybe tomorrow, or before I sleep. I will see, but I will share it. It will be available for those who are still going for selection, and we are going to have another follow-up session, I think, over the weekend. For those who are still going, I will do the same like I did today. I will invite other people you have seen on the YouTube channel whom I've interviewed. I would invite people like Iman, people who are going to the third stages. Should people be selected, I will also, Iman, if you get selected, please come back and inform us, whether on LinkedIn or YouTube. Just let me know. Then we can just do an interview, and then you can share your experience. We really like people who have just completed, who just got selected, to share the experience while their mind are still fresh, for those who still have selection to come. Neo, please repeat your question on the research task for MACC selection. I managed to get someone from class to answer the question. Yes, Kanye wanted somebody to answer you on the question about the research. Can you please come in there and share? I think your mic is off, Kanye.
Sorry about that. I was saying I'm still waiting for a response. I'll get back to you.
No problem. I think what I will do, friends, don't stress, and I don't want you to leave here feeling you are not fully equipped. I think, like Iman is already on the first stage. For you to be there, there's a lot that you have done on your own, and I believe that you are fully equipped for tomorrow. The reason for this meeting, colleagues, was not to get into the theoretical aspect of psychological theories, and for you to feel like you are lacking something. I wanted you to just gain confidence, just prepare yourself mentally. I think that's the most important thing. We wanted you to be mentally prepared. If you are going to selection tomorrow, we want you to know everybody who's there, whether they are 10, they are 20, they are there because they want you to be selected. That is why they block that diary for you. So if they are 10, you are 1, that's an advantage to you. It's not a disadvantage. So don't be scared whether 20 people come into the room. I think about it like this. If I can handle these 20 people well, and they see how professional I am, and I'm not even scared of them, I'm looking them in the eyes, I'm able to communicate what I know. Imagine what those people will think. Because already, they will, ordinarily, if a person is with 20 people, he should be anxious. He should be able to stumble on things and not be able to portray themselves. But if you show confidence, they will be able to see this person is the best candidate to be a psychologist. Let's select him. But if you go there, you are stuttering, you are sweating, you are all over, I'm telling you, they're just going to say, you know what, I think we need to give this person a year just to mature as a person. And they feel like you are not yet grown up. because remember, psychology will always put you in the spot. I think you can share about that. You do a lot. They can just say, next week you are presenting, you're going to be in the front of the class. People will be coming. Like anything can happen in psychology. So if you can't handle pressure at this stage, they know that you are going to struggle with the masters. So colleagues, tomorrow when you go there or whenever, show confidence. Don't go there looking apologetic as if you are lost, you are confused why you are even there. Show confidence when you go there. Show good attitude, show professionalism, you know. Call them, colleagues, you understand that I prepared this theory because of this. You know, this is my understanding. I have theories that I've been inclined to, that I've been working on, that, I mean, I'm willing to share if colleagues want to, but I'm willing to learn this particular theory of yours. Be open. Don't try to look smarter than them. Probably anything they ask you, they know it better than you. But be open, be professional, and try to answer all the questions as much as you can. But be very succinct. Don't just be talking too much and say, oh, thank you, we got the point. You know, use wisdom. That's all. Use wisdom when you are there. Kanye, please share. Colleagues, I want us to stop the meeting because I want to do a follow-up. We've lost a lot of people on YouTube and Instagram. We've actually started at around 7 o'clock, if not half 6. But due to technology, we've been moving around and we have lost a lot of people. I feel for them. So actually, we joined here so that we can just postpone. But because people were going for selection tomorrow, we decided to just at least share a bit before we plan for the next session. So on the chat, while Kanye is sharing, tell me whether Saturday night or Friday night will be the best for the next follow-up meeting. I will invite other people as well. So Kanye, please give us your last points, and if there are no questions, after that we are going to close. Over to you.
Okay. I just want to say that, you know, if you feel nervous, it's okay for you to express that you are feeling nervous. For me, it shows a sense of self-awareness, and which is a good sign. So if you are feeling nervous, just say, I'm feeling quite nervous, but you're also looking forward to the interview. And being nervous doesn't mean that you can't be confident. It's very important for you to be confident and always be open with your answers. Like Dr. T had said, don't give closed-ended questions. If they ask you a certain question, for example, what research topic are you deciding to go into? Say the research topic and explain why. Why that topic. Expand on your answers. And yeah, do your best. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Kanye. I really appreciate it. Now, please don't stress so much about the research. I doubt they will go through the deductive thematic analysis things. I doubt they will go there. I doubt. But should they go, just prepare for it. Theoretical, yes, they can ask you, what will be your theoretical framework? If you check the video, there's a video I did about the basics of research. I think the key thing, which I see a lot, people confuse theoretical framework, conceptual framework. Understand the difference between the two. A theoretical is an established theory. You get a theory that is already established. Bandura theory is an established theory. Systemic theory is an established theory. Conceptual, you combine different concepts to develop a conceptual framework. It's not an established theory on its own. So you borrow concepts from different frameworks or ideas, like Cummings' second language development. It's a framework. One can borrow it to build a conceptual framework. So understand the technicalities when it comes to research. That is why I'm saying the concepts are key. Please, if you have time, just check that video where I speak about the basics of qualitative research on YouTube. But don't stress a lot. I think know what you can know at this point, but I don't think they will grid you too much in terms of why did you do thematic analysis, inductive thematic analysis, and all that. Those things usually you need to understand research to be thoroughly knowledgeable about them. So Yeah, let me stop there, colleagues. I don't want to take much of your time. I think we have been here. Thank you so much for Kanye. I really hijacked Kanye. We had already logged off from Instagram, but when I heard somebody was going to Vets, I thought Kanye will be the best because she went through that selection process. I usually prefer people who have been through the selection recently because they can remember it. Kanye is on her final year of EdPsych, so she is the best person to share. I'm getting different views. Others say Fridays, others say Saturday. I need to choose one day. Uh, I need to choose one day. I need to choose one day. Uh, Let me know, colleagues, which day will you prefer, Saturday or Friday? Let's meet on Friday or Saturday. Okay, now either one of the two will work. Friday night for me. Any can work. It's just that people don't like Fridays because Fridays they go to their places. Yes, can you want to give me a day? Give me.
No, I got a response from the previous question. So,
yes.
he's saying that he was not asked anything about framework. The only thing he was asked was his research interests and why that specifically, and that was it.
Okay. Yeah, so if you are asked that question, colleagues, make sure that there are three concepts which are important if you are asked about research. Rationale, there's a very concept to mention. It shows that you understand research. Qualitative or quanti, sample, participants, use this particular concept. Use them very well. Please listen to that presentation I did where I speak about you need to know how you use. You can hear where somebody doesn't understand research the way they speak, the way they speak and the concept they use, because quali has got its own concept, quanti has got its own concepts. But I want you to be relaxed for tomorrow. I don't want you to think you are missing something. If you do, send Kanye something on LinkedIn. Kanye, have you shared your handle? Now you have taught me terms now. Have you shared your handle? You guys you can share with me on LinkedIn or on YouTube, anywhere that you prefer. Okay, there's a hand, Ritabile. Maybe this will be the last hand we take. Yes, Ritabile.
Good evening, say. I'm sorry I've been having network problems.
No problem.
So I kind of missed the part, I'm hearing that you guys were talking about the research. So last year I actually went through the whole selection process with NWU. That the whole first phase was them looking at our marks, and then second phase was the research task, and then the third phase was the interview part. So in terms of the research part, can I just ask for maybe a repetition of what was said about that? I mean, I passed the research task that they gave us, but I just want to know what else. If this year maybe they change, or I'm at another institution and they have their own way of asking research questions.
When are you going for your next selection?
For now, the universities that I have applied for haven't gotten back to me as yet. I just know the one that I went to, which is NW. They do their research. They do their selection process, I think, in just before October. Yeah, just before October.
Okay. What I'm going to do, we're actually about to closing. I'm going to share this video because we have shared a lot about the research, but I think maybe when you just logged in, you heard me speak about we're going to have a follow-up session. We're going to have another session, at least you still have until October. We're going to have another follow-up session on Saturday. Colleagues, I'm making now executive decision now. I think I saw your comments. I think the meeting will be on Saturday evening. So if you don't mind, Ritabile, can we re-look into it again on that session? But I will also put this video on YouTube as well. I've shared the link on this chat. The link is there. I'm going to add the video tomorrow, and then Kanye as well. There's a video before we came here on Instagram. Kanye said the handle there. If you go to Kanye, I think you're gonna hear the other part where the other lady at SMU who's going to stage 4 was also sharing. Kanye was also sharing there. I was there on YouTube. I can't remember what we did. We did a lot of things today. We actually started at 6:30. So, but we're going to meet again on Saturday. I'm going to share again the link on LinkedIn. Kanye will share on her page. Please look out for that. And we'll put also on Facebook. Yeah. So let's
I will
end there.
definitely
I want you
do
to
that.
go sleep and rest. Thank you so much, Tabi. I want you guys to go rest because tomorrow is the D-Day for some of you. Can we adjourn the meeting? Is there any question that is burning that if we don't answer it, you won't sleep well? Any person with a really burning question that if we don't answer, they won't sleep, they'll be troubled, or their selection tomorrow can be affected. Don't be footy, Iman, any person going for selection tomorrow before Saturday who feels like if we don't answer this, she's going to be affected. Only those who are going for selection between tomorrow and Saturday. If you are going to on next week, we can answer it on Saturday. Katia, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. When are you going for interviews?
So I'm going for my interview tomorrow. My only concern is I feel that when I go into interviews, my concern is being myself. I feel that I get anxious, I disconnect, and I'm not myself. So I was just wondering if you have any tips on how to kind of connect with your interviewers and just be authentic.
Yeah, I think Carmen spoke about it. There was somebody who's a student, final year student at UJ, before you came. Number one, I think, is the basic, and this is why I want to release you. Firstly, have enough rest as possible for tomorrow. Be prepared mentally, attitude-wise, be ready tomorrow. You know, guys, you have done CBT, cognitive therapy. It is not the situation that affects us, it's our thinking about it. If I see 50 people, 100 people, if I already think I have no chance, that affects me mentally. So your mindset, that is why I want you to pray. Your mindset is the most crucial part. Your mindset, your thinking. Don't see 100 people there tomorrow and say, you know what, I won't make it. It's just going to be history repeating itself. Attitude is the most important. When you get into the interview now, Carmen said something. It was a very simple statement, but I think it's very important. She was saying, remember to breathe. So we might laugh about it, but guys, breathe in, breathe out. You don't want a vibrating voice while you are speaking. Breathing is one of the most important things. Go to the bathroom, go wherever. Just breathe in, breathe out. Make sure that you are really comfortable before you speak. Thoroughly prepare about yourself. And I think all of you guys who went to an interview, they ask you a question, tell us about yourself. It's like as if it's the most difficult exam question. Why? Because you need to preempt the question they will ask you, rehearse them in your mind. When you get there, you might not answer them the way you have been rehearsing them, but it will help you to become more eloquent when you speak because you have went through the thinking around them before. And even if they don't ask you the question you have rehearsed, whatever they will ask you, you will be better to articulate it, gaining the resource from any other question you might have prepared that they never asked you. But at least in terms of your inventory of responses, you have got a lot to take from whenever you are asked a question, even if it's not the same one, but it's similar in a sense that the content will still be the same that you can use in order to answer a question. I will say, Kati, listen to the question very well. Listen to the question, be genuine. If I don't understand, be open to them. Colleagues, you know what? This is the theory I've used a lot. I'm not too much familiar with that one. What I know about the theory is this. However, should I be selected, I'm willing to learn about this theory. Carmen said something before. He said, the reason I'm here also, I'm here to learn. Be open. Don't try to look smarter than people who are there. They probably know more than you. But also don't try to act naive or ignorant. At least show that you want to be here, you have done your homework, and you understand that there are many people who want this other than you. Be at the moment. Be at the moment. When you are there, it speaks to the issue of connection. The minute they're asking a question, your mind is all over. You are easily going to offer it. Be at the moment. Be focused. What are they exactly asking me? You can reflect to say, am I understanding you correctly? Do you want me to share about this? Reflect. Don't be in a hurry to answer if you don't understand what that's. So there's a lot. There's no right, but you need to try as much as possible. You be at that moment. It's the only time where you need to shut everything around you. Your program, be at that particular moment. Be yourself, share openly about it, but prepare as much as you can. Preempt what they will ask you. I think I have shared a list of questions that they might ask you on that YouTube video. You can go through it and try to see what questions you feel you are not prepared. I've shared the link here. But let me give, and then I hope Katia, I've let Kanye also add. Can you
Yes,
please
thank you so much, Dr. T.
Yeah, can you please add?
Oh, no,
Your hand is up.
you've
I hope
mentioned
it
what
was
I actually wanted
Hey,
to say.
can I please just say something to Katia before Annie?
Oh, sorry,
yes,
Ritabile, I
please,
didn't see your
Ritabile.
hand.
Sorry, Ritabile. No, please, I want you to share. Let Kanye
Okay,
just finish.
can I
I'll
please
go
say
to
something, sir, just to Katia?
Yes. I want you to. I'm gonna
Okay,
give it to you. Let
I just,
Kanye, you
I'm
done?
lost. Okay.
Okay, Ritabile, go on. Maybe
You can share, Ritabile.
Okay. I just want to say to Katia also, I think just adding on to what Sir just said, it's very important to also be your authentic self. Like, I think the energy when you speak to, I think the panel or whoever's there, if you are coming in there and they can already feel that you're maybe you have rehearsed these answers and you're coming in overthinking and you're coming in not being authentic and not being yourself. I think that I don't know, say all correct me, but it can be read off when someone is not
You
being
are right.
authentic.
You're totally right.
So just to Katia, I think I don't know you, but I genuinely hope that when you go there tomorrow, no matter, as Say said, no matter how many people you see, no matter what happens, no matter what they ask you, as long as you are authentic, as long as you are truthful to yourself, as long as you stay yourself, you don't lose yourself. Because you said you have sometimes you maybe dissociate because of the anxiety. With that anxiety, I think it's good. It's better for you to be authentic. Than by being authentic, you will find yourself in a less dissociative mode or state.
Perfect, Ritabile. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank
I
you for
think that,
sharing
that
that.
that's
Thank
very
you.
awesome. And remember something, colleagues. If I'm going to an interview and I prepare a question to answer about tell us about yourself, that on its own doesn't make what I'm going to share non-authentic. It just makes me well prepared on how to approach the question. So don't ever feel, Katia, that preparing about how to answer will make you non-authentic. It will just make you to flow better because you prepared yourself. So I think also what Ritabile is mentioning is that the only way to also deal with anxiety is better preparation. When you preempt things, you prepare thoroughly, it lessens the anxiety. You become highly anxious when you are really unsure about the circumstances that you are in or how you are going to handle any question.
Yes.
Oftentimes,
Yes.
I think we are prepared, but anxiety makes you even forget the thing that you are less prepared on, because you are not thoroughly prepared. You become anxious. You even forget the thing that you are prepared because you did not thoroughly take time to prepare for them. I think what Tabile is answering is very, very, very important. So thank you for that, Tabile.
Thank you, sir.
Let me give Kanye. Kanye, please, you are the last person. People, I need to go sleep. You need to go sleep. You have got selection tomorrow.
I totally agree with what Tabile said, but also please give yourselves time to go through what you wrote on your autobiography. It really helps that when you answer questions, for example, why it's psych or why clinical psych, and then you refer to things that you said on your autobiography. When you answer your questions, reflect back on that. Like I said on my autobiography, this, that. Try to speak about the things that you spoke about in your autobiography. Don't forget what you wrote. And then it's okay to bring in new stuff, but I also think stick to what you wrote on your autobiography because you know why you wrote that. I'm sure you have prepared yourself as to how you would answer questions based on what you have written. So if you bring in something different or an experience that you've had in life that you didn't mention on your autobiography, it's going to be very difficult for you to answer follow-up questions, and it's going to seem brutal. So try to go back to your autobiography, reflect on the things you wrote, and don't forget to mention that during your interviews.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for taking your time from your master's, stressful master's 2 level to be here with us. I know usually in master's 2 you don't even sleep, but you invested your time to be with us. I really appreciate. Thanks to Carmen. She's also an M2, but she made time to be with us early in the video. So I will share this video so that we can have it. I'm going to schedule a meeting for Saturday evening. Please inform others. Let's be there. I'll try to invite others as well who have been selected to be here. If anybody gets selected this week, please let me know so that we can also invite you to come and share your journey for this week and how it happened. I know SMU that are finishing this week, so hopefully we can get people from VETS. Please do update us from tomorrow if you get selected. Please come back and share with us what you did. If you don't get selected, it's not the end of the world, people. Selections are going to happen until Jesus comes back. So don't take it hard as if it's the end of the world. Always it's not going to be opportunities. The other institute where you have applied to give you feedback, I'm sure that something might happen there. Don't conclude. Somebody was telling me she has already received 3 rejection out of 5. I said, leave at the moment. Wait for the 2, and then you reflect and you plan the way forward. Don't conclude that it's the end just because you got 3 rejection. So let's be here. And I am wishing that everybody who's here and going for interview tomorrow, you get selection. I so wish, please make sure that you go all out. Your lifetime, make the best of it. If it doesn't work out, there's always next time. We try and give it our best and we correct where we went wrong. Let me end it here, colleagues. We will meet on Saturday. All the best and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, sir. And good luck to Katia. And good luck to everybody that's having their thingy this week. I wish you all the best. And I'm praying for good vibes. I'm praying for you guys to do well.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Bye. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night. Night,
Good night,
everybody.
brothers.